We're going to be known for how hard we play. We'll be disciplined in our approach. We're going to eliminate careless play.
Louisiana is looking for a great start to their 2018 season when they begin this Saturday against Grambling on September 1st under new head coach Billy Napier. Let's start with a look at the 2018 Louisiana Ragin Cajuns football team offense. Let's start with the running backs. We love the running backs, Charlie. Trey Regis, Elijah Mitchell, we love these guys.
If you want to start talking about the offense, you got to start with the running backs. We got a lot of talent at that position.
It's very deep. Trey Regis, Elijah Mitchell both performed well in their freshman season. They shined in their debut season. Regis led the team with 113 rushing yards, 9 touchdowns. He averaged 5.7 yards per carry. I mean, Regis was an absolute bowling ball, to say the least. I think that's the best way to describe Regis, is a bowling ball.
He just runs over defenses. You put him up the middle, and he'll just go for yardage.
Yeah, he had 2 games with over 100 rushing yards, 130 against Tulsa, 132 against New Mexico State, and 5 games for 70-plus yards. So Regis continually got it done. He didn't play in every game, but the ones he did play in, very productive.
You rarely saw Trey get tackled for loss in games. Every single run he had was for positive gain. Well, of course, not every single one, but most of them, of course. So, he was a very reliable back for most of the season, and it was only his freshman season. That's the stunning part of it. He was such a stud, but he's so young as well. So we're going to have a treat watching him for the few years.
He was second overall in the conference in rushing. Didn't even play in every game. 9 starts, appeared in 11 games. As for Mitchell, performed well again, straight out the gate. He played in 5 games, but he suffered a left foot injury that really derailed his season.
Yeah, against Idaho in October, really early in the season, he looked great. He was shooting up the depth chart early season, but that injury kind of derailed his freshman season. But I think that, he's had plenty of time to rest it, rehabilitate it, and I think he'll be coming back 100%. So I'm really excited to see what he wants to show us in his sophomore season.
I'm excited to see him. He's 100% coming into the season. Maybe not 100%, but he's ready to play in the 2018 season. And we talked about Regis averaging 5.7 yards per carry. Mitchell averaged 6.1 yards per carry. So they both can bring production out of that backfield. Elijah Mitchell racked up 273 rushing yards. His best game was against ULM, where he went for 107 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. What did you see from them last season that has you excited for this year?
Well, they showed flashes in their freshman season, but for both of them, if they stay healthy the whole season, they could be great together. You look at their running styles, they're a little different. As you said, Regis is more of a power back. He likes bowling over people. And Mitchell's more of a finesse back where he can gain yardage, but he can go, around the tackles and do it that way. So I think both of them together, they should provide a good mixture. Yeah. The running game is going to be super powerful for the Cajuns this year. So I think that's definitely the place to start with the offense.
Health. And that's my one improvement that I would like to see.
Right.
And it's something you really can't help. But that's the only improvement that I'm thinking of. Also, I think you can think of another improvement that you want to see from them. It's perhaps the catching out of the backfield. Because they both combined for 12 receptions for 57 yards in 2017.
Yeah, I mean the running backs, they're not necessarily, receiving backs, but either way, they're very effective. Third down backs, we still have, Raymond Calais and other backs that are capable of doing that. But as far as first and second down, if you can swap those two and keep them fresh and healthy all season long, that's going to be a really dangerous weapon for the Cajuns.
Yeah, you mentioned their third running back. It's Raymond Calais, Jordan Wright, both athletic and could make plays out of the backfield. Perhaps Regis and Mitchell can't, and that's what we're talking about. This running back position is so deep and talented for the Ragin Cajuns.
Yeah, and that's, as I said, it's going to be a great weapon all season.
And they'll be behind the offensive line. So let's talk about the offensive line. 2 players to look out for in Louisiana are Kevin Dotson and Robert Hunt. They will both be on the left side of the line. Dotson played on the right side in 2017. Cole Prudhomme is another player returning to the roster. He will start at center for the Ragin Cajuns offensive line. One loss for the Ragin Cajuns is Grant Horst, great offensive lineman for the Ragin Cajuns. He started in 9 games at left tackle in his final season, earning a 2017 third team All-Sun Belt Conference. And, you have talent on the left side. We are not sure about the right side, but Kevin Dotson, Robert Hunt, both names that were brought up in the offseason by Napier as leaders, so look out for them on the offensive line. Now let's go to the wide receivers. And we talked about the running back being deep. The wide receiver could be equally as deep, as you have 4-5 players returning at that position. You have Raheem Malone, Jamarcus Bradley, Jared Jackson, Keenan Barnes, And Michael Jacquet returning at the wide receiver position. I mean, Michael Jacquet will expect to be a defensive back,
Right.
but Napier has said he can play both ways. So if they need him at the wide receiver position, there he is, Michael Jacquet. So now you have 5 guys returning at the wide receiver position.
And as you were saying about health was a big issue with the receiving core last season. So, hopefully they can stay healthy as well, because this is a really deep list of receivers. They can all catch, they can all make good plays. So, hopefully they stay healthy this season and have big seasons.
Yeah, Raheem Malone led the team with 44 receptions, 676 yards, 4 touchdowns. He averaged 15 yards per catch. Jamarcus Bradley, 39 receptions, 475 yards, 2 touchdowns. Keenan Barnes, who had 539 yards, 37 receptions. His career game against Texas A&M, very impressive. 12 receptions, 118 receiving yards. So Keenan Barnes, he's proved that he can step up in big games. And when he has a big game, he has a big game.
It felt like last season there were different players leading the Cajuns in receptions and yardage for each game last season. So, I'm kind of looking for something similar again. I think it's going to be very, the ball's going to be shared between these receivers. There's so much talent, it's kind of got to be shared.
Right.
But it should be a very nice help to the quarterbacks having all these really talented receivers that they can throw to.
And at the tight end position, Chase Rogers will be out for the 2018 season. So names to look out for are Matt Barnes and Chris Turner. You mentioned the quarterback just briefly, and we've talked about it before, the quarterback position. There is a choice between Levi Lewis and Andre Nunez. Both could play, though.
Both could play.
Both could play. You don't have to have one quarterback in an entire game.
I don't think Coach Napier is going to make the decision until game day at this point. It's coming up so soon, and he still hasn't made release an announcement saying that he's made a decision. So I don't think it's going to be something that happens anytime soon. I think it's going to be one of those decisions where we see who the starting quarterback is on game day. The first quarterback that runs out on the field for the first snap is when we'll decide who the starting quarterback is going to be. That's how intense this is coming down to. But that's such, it says a lot about the 2 guys that are battling it out. Both are very talented, both in different ways. But either way he decides to go, Napier decides to go, it's a good decision.
And it may not be an experience thing. You talk about a sophomore, you talk about a senior, but they both have the same experience with the Louisiana Ragin Cajuns.
Right.
And the differences, as you mentioned, they are different skill sets. Levi Lewis making plays out of the pocket in the running game. Andre Nunez, more of a pocket passer, more accurate with the ball.
Yes.
Both can bring something different, and that's why you can see 2 quarterbacks in the same game.
Right.
That's where we're headed. I'm sure that's where we're headed.
Oh,
but
sure.
Who do you think will play in game 1? Who's taking the first snap?
Personally, I think it will probably be Nunez. The senior gets his first snap of the season. But that doesn't mean that Levi won't play in the game against Scrambling. If one quarterback is struggling in the game, they might be pulled to go to the other quarterback and see how they play. So either way, I don't think that there's a bad decision in this.
We've noted the positives of starting 2 quarterbacks. Having guys that are both talented, but what could be the downfall or the side effects to having both quarterbacks in a game?
There might be confidence issues. If you start Levi, who's a young quarterback, and he struggles early in the game, and you decide to switch to Nunez halfway through the game, that might hurt his confidence, but hopefully it won't. You got to recognize both these quarterbacks are very talented. So,
Right.
If a defense is set to play against one style, say that they're better in the backfield and they're better against pocket passers, Napier could always make a switch to Levi to throw some athleticism and maybe as a spark plug for the offense. So we'll have to see.
Right. You can throw off the defense in ways like that, so the defense will be unable to prepare for you the best they can, throwing 2 different kinds of quarterbacks out there. The third quarterback, Deion Ray, maybe. He played in the Wildcat position a little bit, getting some red zone touches, red zone touchdowns. So Deion Ray could be the third quarterback. Also look out for Jake Arsenault.
Right.
Perhaps. So you have competition at the 1 and 2, but there's also competition at the 3. Let's talk about the offense as a whole. How do you think they will perform this season?
The offense is absolutely going to be the strength of this team. You look at all the talent that's returning from last year, and there's no way that you can't be excited to see this offense. It's going to be really explosive and high.